It is time. Welcome to the Krypton Report. It's a review of 2025 Superman. I am Tyler, the Superman of Blue. Is with me James, the Superman of Red, Levi, the Round Superman, and Perry White, Solomon Patrick.
Very white. I
What's up,
like it.
Chief?
Yeah. Man, I'm excited for this. It's crazy to think that it's Sunday. The movie came out technically Friday, but it's been out kind of since Tuesday. So it feels like the movie's been out a lot longer. And we're just now getting to record it when it feels like so many other people are like dropping their reviews. And I was like, I wanted some time to pass to think on the film, and I wanted to see it at least twice. So the first question, what I did was I made a guided outline to kind of help us keep our thoughts and everything organized for the review. But my first question, we'll start with Levi. We'll go Levi, James, Solomon, me. How many times have you seen the film?
I've seen it twice. I saw it Tuesday with the IMAX Prime screenings, and then I saw it Friday in a Dolby.
Okay, Mr. Cole.
So I've seen it twice. I should have seen it 3 times. I don't know. You want that as an interesting theater story, or
So James.
So I went to the Prime screening. I went to the 8:00 Prime or the 7:00 Prime screening, and we were there and watched about 20 minutes of the movie. After as soon as Jimmy starts like whacking Clark with the paper because he's on the front page, we had to leave. Kid had an allergic reaction at home. Everything's fine, but it was like, so what are you gonna do? Like tell an older brother, like, now give him Benadryl and tell me what happens. I'm watching my movie. You know what I mean?
You're like, so
I had to leave. I didn't get to see it on Tuesday, and then I had to wait until I went and saw it on Thursday. Saw it Thursday evening, and they were 30 minutes late starting the movie. The showing started at 8:10. 8:10 started. The commercials and crap stopped, but the screen was blank. They didn't have anything on it, and for 25 minutes, I had to wait another 25 minutes expecting my showing after I already had to leave a showing.
Poor James.
I was furious.
Poor James.
No, it's all good. I got to see it twice. I went and saw it earlier today.
Solomon, how many times have you seen it?
Well, that's actually pretty hard to say. Okay, so I've seen it
once,
but I saw
about three
fourths of the movie because today we went to Danbury, so our local theater, and Dad's friend there, Abe, big shout out, let me and Dad go into Superman for free.
So we were at the theater today promoting our upcoming play, the Superman musical. We were raffling off 2 free tickets and just kind of doing like cross promotion. And like we were winding down, and my buddy who's the manager there says, "You guys just want to go in and watch the movie?" I was like, "I don't care." I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "It's only like a few minutes, like a little bit into it." So we got in there. Like I said, we saw about 3/4 of it. And so I've seen it now 2 3/4. And we have another showing planned because we're taking our cast to see it this coming Saturday night. Let's just go watch the movie again. Dad, I want to see the movie again. And I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
So
I'm ready to go back and see it again.
So my next question, are there any like experiences like in the theater that you had that you kind of want to share? James shared his experience about the first time, but any kind of cool stories with like theater interactions or stuff?
The IMAX early preview. I mean, there was a ton of people I would say sold out. Probably 90% of the crowd had Superman merch on. At least specifically the current shirt, which kind of blew my mind, to be honest.
I will say having the shirt available easily, like at Walmart and like Target, has helped a lot because I too saw a lot of the shirt, and we went to early showings. So like we went on Thursday at 2:30 on a Thursday, even though it's summer. IMAX almost completely sold out. My second showing, Brian and I went to a tri-screen in the middle of the Friday morning, and it and then we saw a Sunday afternoon, and it was pretty full. So, and seeing a lot of merch. But what else did you experience, Levi?
Oh, man, I would say, and without going into spoiler territory, when the IMAX screening ended, the amount of people who stood up and said something along the lines of "That's Superman" was kind of inspiring. It's I've been telling in some of my group chats, it's been really cool, the reaction to this movie, to see people who probably aren't big Superman fans see Superman the way we do.
Yeah,
finally. So
I agree. James, any fun other theater stories?
So I do have some fun stuff. When I went to the Prime screening, like it was packed. Like it was packed. Every seat was. There was a lot of people in that theater.
Can I just say real quick, this is how you promote the movie, not the way they did The Flash, where they gave out a bunch of freaking free screenings, but by doing an advanced showing like that for a special occasion and
or
allowing.
Justice League.
It's what they did with Shazam.
I know, and I feel like that made a lot more sense because you're still getting money from tickets. You know, you're not giving away free. Like they gave all the major fans free screenings for Flash. So no wonder when it came time to go see it, they're like, nope. But continue, James.
Like I don't want to go see that one again. So yeah, that was a good thing. Then the second showing, there was some audience interaction with things going on. With David Cornsweet, with Lex Luthor, definitely some laughing and applause when it was over. There was applause in the theater when it was over, and then a really fun one today was we went up to the Phoenix Theater here. Just up in Monroe, Michigan, and they got the nice reclining chairs and everything. And we took Allura with us, and she was just kicking back in her own reclining chair. And as soon as the movie started and the DC Studios shows up and old Superman is there and he breaks out the chains, she said, "Superman," real loud, and the whole crowd loved it.
That's what I'm talking about. That's what you need. That's your daughter, man. Good job.
Yeah.
Yep, it was good. And then I got my my bucket.
See,
My metal
that
bucket
one's cool.
today.
That one's cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
I
I
almost
like
got that one.
So, all right, when Solomon and I went, we went to AMC for the IMAX. Show him the bucket. This is the only bucket I wanted. Show
I
him.
do want the one that he breaks the glass.
Yeah.
I do want that one, but it's only massive.
So I got the Daily Planet newspaper stand one from AMC. So that's the only bucket that I really wanted because I thought that was just unique and I
Yeah,
could
that's
find a
pretty
lot of
cool.
practical uses for it.
And also, you can flip it to Krypton.
So I bought that
Awesome.
and we got this was the cup at AMC. It's the same one Levi's got too, which I think is a totally rad cup.
It is.
I
Now,
like that I didn't see cups there. All I saw was the buckets today. They had the crypto, the dog bowl. So
I want the dog bowl one. That would be cool.
I would like the dog bowl, but That was an expensive dog bowl.
Well,
The
the
amount of people I saw coming into the theater with the cups and the buckets, though, like it was half the people probably had either the cup or the bucket or both.
I feel like they did smart by doing this with different cups and stuff for different theaters. So hold on, I'll tell you. So when we went to the first one, we went to the IMAX. I'm wearing this hat. I'm wearing my suit. Not this shirt. I'm wearing the shirt James has. I wore my Superman cape. I got red shorts. I got red Chucks on and Superman socks. Solomon wore my Superman shirt and cape for my makeshift costume from a few years ago. And, we saw the movie. I'm walking around. My cape is blowing in the wind outside. My cape is blowing in the theater because as I was walking, the rails would catch it and flip it up. And so after the movie, I was listening to people like same thing, full clap and applauding, talk about how good it was and liking it. And I'm standing there. One guy is like talking like, yeah, man. I don't remember what he said, but like he pulls his arm back and he has a Superman tattoo on his arm. And I'm like, yeah, I got one right here. And I show him mine. And then I like hand him the Krypton Report card. Like, yeah, I do a podcast for Superman. And he's like, yeah, it was cool. And my wife's like, you know that guy? I'm like, no, we just met. And then after that, we went to Target. And when I went looking for Hot Girl, I stayed in cape, dude. So did Solomon. So we're walking around Target, cape flapping. People are like, did you like the movie? We're like, yeah, it was awesome. And then
That's fun.
And then a little kid says, hey, they're dressed like Batman.
So funny.
I was like, oh, okay, poor guy.
Oh God.
Then we go over to this restaurant that I love called Freddy's. It's basically like Steak and Shake, but better. And we come in and we were talking with the guy, like, oh, did you guys just get back from the movie? And I was like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I just took my cape off. He said, dude, if you walk in here with a cape on, I will give you free ice cream. So I ran back out, got my cape, and came back in. He's like, what kind of ice cream you want, man? I was like, yes.
There you go.
So that was my first. My second viewing, Brian and I went to the tri-screen, which was pretty cool. But I got this cup, and like you press his chest and it lights up. So I was like, that one's too cool, and I hadn't seen it. And that was a cool adventure with the reclining chairs and certain action scenes that would project on the side. So it felt like you were like more immersed in the movie. So it was pretty cool. I did hear people, like an old couple coming out saying like, I liked the story, but there was just too much CG, like action I couldn't see. And I would have liked some more smaller time. And as they're pushing their walkers, I was like, so, I was
Superman 78 all the way up through Superman Returns. I mean, you got a lot of that.
So, all right. So, spoiler free.
Unfortunately, I'm glad they went and saw it and enjoyed it, though.
Yeah, me too. I've seen all kinds of ages from groups, and that's what I liked. As we get into our spoiler free, I'm going to say this. I recently got to do an interview with Mark Waid over on Capes and Lunatics. You'll be hearing part of that interview here on an upcoming episode. And Mark Waid just said about the movie, and I thought about this the whole time I've watched it, is usually Superman is introduced into the world that the audience lives in. This is the first time the audience is introduced to Superman's world. And I was like, huh, okay. All right. Okay.
I saw another take along those lines that said normally filmmakers struggle to make Superman exceptional, like understand why he's exceptional. Whereas in this one, he's not exceptional. He's just another metahuman.
Yeah. Most powerful metahuman. So spoiler-free reactions, kind of starting with Levi. We'll go around.
Spoiler free. I really liked it. I'm gonna say some stuff later that's probably gonna make it seem like I didn't like it that much. I really enjoyed it. I think it's something we as Superman fans talk about a lot, is the feeling that Superman gives you. And it's that hopeful, optimistic, in the face of not just adversity, but everyone telling you you're not. And that's how you walk out of that movie, especially with the end speech that he has. I think there are some parts that I do have issues with, but overall, it's solid. It's a very solid Superman movie.
Yeah. All right, James.
I really loved it. It's very unapologetically a comic book movie.
In the best way.
Unlike others, it's not trying. It's not trying to not be a comic book brought to the screen.
I feel like you can even, there's points where you can pick out this is where an issue would end. And this is like the next scene is where
Ooh,
the
yeah.
start of a next issue would be.
You know,
Like
on
it
that-
is very comic booky.
on that subject though, like I really get upset. People are like, oh, it's not like that in the comics, or oh, it's so much like the comics. And I'm kind of like, yes and no. Because it's like, what comics do you read? You know what I'm saying? Like, you read Superman, I don't know, like current Superman, then you read Superman original action, same character, there's differences, you know, like, so like, they're like, I heard someone's comment on Lex, and I was like, this Lex is very much an all-star comics based Lex. And there's things from All-Star sprinkled into this. And there's things from other comics sprinkled into this. So, and the comics always reinvent themselves. The comics change things. You know, we'll talk about one thing because we have a quote on Facebook from Mike Carlin on it that I think is kind of hilarious. But I mean, just because something's in the comics doesn't mean it's always canon. It gets changed. So it's very tricky to be like, it's true to the comics. Well, I mean, yes, but there's no Justice Gang in the comics.
Yeah.
You know, there's no this team led by Maxwell Lord. The engineer is not a villain of Superman, so it's not completely like the comics.
Right. I mean, you know, every iteration is its own version, you know. They pick and pull things. I mean, there's decades worth of comics. So to put stuff into a movie, you pick and choose what items you want to use and what items work for the world, you know. But this movie, I really did. I loved it. I enjoyed it. The the cast was phenomenal. We're gonna get to them. The cast was so well, so well cast. The the action was very dynamic. It was really awesome. Um, but just overall, I mean, I don't even know what to say besides that because anything else, we're gonna start just talking about the
Yeah,
movie.
Solomon, spoiler free thoughts on the film. To your mind.
Well, this movie, it was so good. I really think this is one of my It's actually one of my favorite Superman movies that I've seen.
And right there, that's what's important too. Continue, buddy.
I really think it was really original Superman. I really think it has those elements of being Superman. It showed Superman like he's not just serving America. He's serving the world. He's helping the world. And I'm not gonna lie, if I didn't know Superman and I had seen this for the first time, I would say, wow, this is a good Superman movie. This is a good movie, all in all. Because sometimes I can pitch movies, like I would know what happens at the end, like I always do that. But this movie, I didn't know what was going to happen. So that's a good thing.
You know, Like I said earlier, Solomon was begging me to go see it again.
It was.
He loved it, and I've heard other kids get excited about it. I have a friend who was one of those Christopher Reeve only Superman, puts everything out Superman. And he liked this movie, so it was shocking. Testing. Solomon, talking to your mic real quick.
Talk. Rock.
Just testing Solomon's mic here.
Solomon Patrick. This is Solomon Patrick.
Can you hear me, James?
He says reef.
Okay, he says.
James, if you can hear us, we need you to change your shirt again.
Clap once. James is having some technical issues. But all right, so my spoiler free is pretty much I really loved it. I liked it more each time I saw it. It's hopeful, it's inspiring. The little bits that I have that are a little bit more negative, I don't want to even say negative, just little critiques, are nothing major, and we'll talk about those later. But all in all, like, this was a film that I think we needed, that we wanted. The action was great. There's so many great moments. And this is not a spoiler. One of my biggest things is I easily think this movie should have been 20 more minutes longer. And we'll talk about that breakdown as we go. So
I mean, like when it comes to like negatives for the movie, I have very little, and nothing is substantial. It's only nitpicky, and
that's mine too. And
we were
we'll
basically hoping for something more creative or elaborate, and we kind of got the trope. But whatever. I mean, it worked for the movie, and it didn't go down exactly the way it would trope in the same tropes, you know.
I do agree with you, Tyler. One of the notes I have on here is it felt like it needed more room to breathe.
Yep. And I wonder if that's an editing thing. There's some edits.
It's a weird thing too with specifically Warner Brothers movies the last 5 years, is they all clock in right around 2 hours. And I remember 15 years ago, 2 hours and 20 minutes was like the standard for this type of movie. So it's weird that like 20 minutes has fallen off, and the common complaint is always it needed more room to breathe. So,
and then we got the Batman's 3 hours long.
Yeah.
And you're like, all right, Matt Reeves, calm down. Okay. All right. So that's our spoiler-free thoughts. We are now going to get into spoilers. So
everybody click off if you do not want to hear this.
If you don't want to hear this, or you haven't listened to it, which I love podcasts that do the spoiler-free thoughts, but my thoughts are always like, if you're listening to it, why are you not waiting until after you've seen it? But pause it, come back to us, and drop us, your thoughts. But here we go.
3.
Well, I mean,
Spoiler.
if you haven't seen the movie with how much money it's been making.
Yeah. Okay, so the first thing I have is the score. Have you guys listened to the score by itself yet?
Parts of it.
Yeah.
So it dropped Wednesday, and I listened through it, and I do really like the score. The Williams stuff is sprinkled in there, so it's not overbearing. But the only I don't want to say a negative is there's no music in the score that's like stuck in my head that's not the Williams music. So it's good to listen to. I like it, but there's nothing where like afterwards, like, because Man of Steel, there's the dum dum, like you hear those notes. Even the Amazing Spider-Man 2 theme, like as Jania's ringer, is
I love that theme.
Dun 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 dun. Da-na-na. It's something like that. And in the score, there's nothing other than the Williams that really pops out and stays with me if I'm not like listening to it.
I appreciate though that the Williams stuff is in there, but it's not one for one.
Right. And that it proves that you can use the Williams to represent Superman, without it being the same, like using the electric guitar, using the orchestration.
Changing up
Yeah.
the tempo. Just
But
it's different.
Well, I
enough.
mean, go ahead.
No, it's different enough that it's
Yeah.
not.
Well, I think it's because they use the Williams theme. I mean, that's kind of ingrained into every Superman fan, you know. So you hear it, it's automatically recognizable. The composer here did a fantastic job making it his own.
Speaking of
I really
composer,
do love it.
speaking of composer, I found it very interesting. Sorry, I got an important member about my important message here that came up for about my Superman. Um, so, um, it was, we always heard it was going to be, why is his
John
name?
Murphy.
John Murphy, but it was John Murphy with David Fleming. So they worked on it together, and there's some songs that are credited John Murphy. There's some that's credited to David Fleming. So I thought that was interesting, having that drop, when the score dropped. And I'll probably be listening to it tomorrow because I got to drive to Cleveland to visit a foster. So I'll have 4 hours up, 4 hours back.
Oh, lovely.
But the next thing I wanted to do was I wanted to kind of talk about each character instead of going like in sequence and talk about it. I thought if we went by character, it would kind of help us talk about just the all around, like what we thought of each character, and then we can talk about scenes and stuff. But I grouped the characters together, and yeah, my first
From your
is
list, they're kind of like listed in the peripheral characters, kind of building up to
Yes.
the big ones.
that was kind of my thoughts.
Mhm.
We're gonna start with Pa Kent. Levi, thoughts?
So you're launching me right into one of my hot takes, and I'll group these two together. I did not really care for Mom Pa Kent in this one. I
will quote
my
Jania.
wife didn't either. Both of us did not care for them.
Jania said they felt more like caricatures
Yes.
than actually characters. Now, if you would have given me Ma's like draw, okay, but then you made Pa almost seem like he had a stroke or two, survived, and had Alzheimer's, because Brian, he's legally like deaf and usually has a caption machine, but he can hear pretty well in the theater with his hearing aids. Both viewings could not understand Pa's dialogue because it's so down here, like son. And Solomon didn't understand the first time some of what Pa was saying. And the second time he caught it, he was like, but I they've grown on me a little bit. They're serviceable, but I don't know if I want more of these Kents.
If I didn't see any more of the Kents, I'd be okay with it.
I like that they're both alive. That was something I wanted. But yeah, that's kind of my Mom and Pa. Solomon, was just jump in here before James does. Thoughts on Mom and Pa?
Ma. Okay, I'm gonna. Okay, well, let's do this. Okay, Pa was completely too low, and I felt like he was just like He didn't do good as acting as Paul, as I wanted to see Paul and Maul. Maul had like this all Western voice. I can't even do it.
I'll go get your boots.
She had too much of that voice.
No, Solomon, your microphone is
Sorry. He had
He's too
too much
excited.
of that
He's spitting.
voice, and yeah. It was okay.
I did. I mean,
yeah,
his
it's
speech, Pa's speech he gives him is great. Like, when we were watching the second time, I kind of like just patted Solomon on the leg, like, yes. I thought his speech was great. what he was saying to his son. I think that's something that the parents should tell their children to be a part of. So I completely down with that. They seem like regular people, but there's something a little off. Now I did appreciate and like when they called him on speakerphone together. That was good because my parents have done that before, grandparents and stuff. It's like they're talking to you at the same time on speakerphone. You're like, what? Can't hear you. And
Yeah, watch some older folks talk on the phone.
I did like when Pa called Lois Luann,
Yeah.
and Clark's like, it's Lois, Dad. And yeah, she's nice.
Yeah.
Because the first time I introduced Jania to my parents, to my uncles, they all messed up her name. My uncle just called her Jenny because he just gave up. And like we went to visit my aunt and uncle, and my uncle told my mom, yeah, that Tyler and Jenny had showed up. And she's like, who? He's like, yeah, that girl he's dating. I'm like, oh my God, Uncle Timmy, you're gonna get my mom thinking I got some other woman over here. So
James looks like he's about to tell us how we're all wrong.
Oh
yeah.
no.
James about to drop it and tell us about his secret harem, but whatever. Go ahead, James. Your turn.
My secret harem. No, I mean, they were serviceable. They were kind of there as much as they needed to be. Honestly, with the full arc of the story from beginning to end, because the reason Clark interpreted their message the way he did was because he was raised by Ma and Pa. So, I mean, it comes full circle. They were in there as much as they needed to be. They only said what they needed to say, and I liked them. I don't really need to see a lot more of them. Like if they showed up at, say, like a wedding in the future or something like that, if they did that with these Superman, with the Superman and Lois, in the DC universe, I would love to see them there. But I don't think like unless he has a reason for them to be there, I don't think they necessarily have to show up. I liked them, and I'm sure if they do show up, there will be a reason or a
Someone will get
cameo.
killed off. Someone will get killed off.
Well, let's hope not, but
Please no.
so they were. I loved them. They were incredibly country. They were very simple folks, and I did love how she kept calling him Mush. So you know where Clark got his heart from. So it really comes full circle to him watching the family videos. It comes
I
full
do love
circle,
that.
and I think the usage of them was fantastic. And I think that if he was raised by people like that, maybe he could be the guy he is in this movie when he falls off the table and goes, golly.
Yeah.
I think that's who this guy could be, being raised by them. So
I do think in a lot of ways we've been super spoiled by Kevin Costner and Diane Lane and
John Snyder.
And like it,
I mean, I don't think we've had a bad Pa and Ma. Like even the Pa Kent on Superboy was a good Pa Kent. Now Mom was okay, but Pa was really good. I think the only bad Ma and Pa we had
in Lois and Clark.
Oh, they're to me they're the best.
Yeah,
as like the dynamic, just because they have that older couple who's like reinvigorated with youth.
Yeah,
like
right. They had a different dynamic. Yeah.
So the next character, everyone's favorite reporter, Ron Troop. What did we think of Ron Troop?
I'm gonna go with what my wife said. When we were talking about the Daily Planet people as a whole on the car ride home, she said, who was the black guy in the spaceship? Because I thought Mr. Terrific changed out of his costume.
Yeah. So we're in the theater. Solomon goes, why doesn't he just say, right, Chief? He has no dialogue. None. Because like it was one of those, the first time I was like, did Ron ever talk? I was like, I'm gonna watch it.
He talked in the background of a scene. Like he was like in the scene, in the frame, but he wasn't the loudest audio in the scene. You know, like
So-
you couldn't hear anything he said.
Exactly.
But, but that's all
has to be
that's the
scenes of
only
him.
time his mouth moved.
There has to be scenes of him on the cutting room floor.
Yeah, my wife
he actually
legitimately
has-
thought it was Mr.
Honestly,
Terrific out of costume.
after seeing Ron Troop in the movie, I thought the only reason he wrote him in there was so that Steve would get thrown around Mr. Terrific's sphere, his flying
Just-
saucer. That's the
so he
only
didn't
reason
have
he
a
needed
seat.
a person in the seat.
Yeah. It's some of that felt like he's like, well, and this is one of the negatives is like, I want to show the world existing. So here's the Daily Planet people, boom, they're there. They might not be doing anything or have any dialogue, but they're there. It's like the Triangle Era, like they're there. And like this pulls from the Triangle Era and the Silver Age a lot. But I'm mad because the actor looked like how Ron Troop should look. And like I would want to at least more, and I'll get there a little bit as we get into more of what we like, didn't like, and stuff. But Cat Grant,
You didn't even say me.
Sam, what do you think about Ron Troop?
As Chief.
Yeah, it's Chief. It's Chief.
Well, he didn't have no dialogue, which really upset me. I'm like, Cat, who is that?
And then like trying to reference like Ron Troop's biggest thing right now is where it's Ronnie Troop on My Adventures, and they gender swap the character. So
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the biggest thing that Troop has going for it. Troop is
Yeah, I mean the biggest thing I know that he's had in comics was in the Triangle Era when he was married to Lucy and they were having a kid.
and that's what I
That's
told
it.
Solomon in the comics. I was like, or in the car we were driving the other day, I was like, Ron had a significant part in the comics. So, but all right, Cat Grant, Levi.
So this is gonna get to my wife's biggest issue, and this will come up with a few of the other characters as well. I thought Kat was fine. Like I knew she was a gossip columnist, so like the way she talked and acted and was dressed made sense to me. But my wife's initial reaction is why she have to have her tits out.
I made the joke to Brian because the first time I watched it, and if you go back and watch them, like every scene she's in, but like I think when she's sitting on the desk, is somehow watch the bouncing. Like when they're on, like if you watch the focus when they're on the T craft, she's like, and it's just like that's why she's there. Like
That
My
because
wife,
it's like they over sexualize Kat, they mediumize Eve, and then downplay Lois.
my wife, and like I said, I'll bring it up as we get to the other characters she pointed it out with, but she's like, there were some very sexist undertones that she picked up on, and Kat was like one of the ones that made her the most upset because there was just no reason for her tits to be out as much as they were.
Unless you were doing the joke from the comic with Supergirl, then no. And then I made a comment to Brian about, well, she was just playing the same character she played in the Suicide Squad. He was like, she was in the Suicide Squad? I'm like, yes. She's the secretary that runs into the military people's office when the freedom fighters are busting in. Just go find that scene. You'll know exactly what's up.
you'll know why she's there. Exactly. Yeah, so she's worked with James Gunn on multiple pictures. I'm pretty sure she goes all the way back to Glenn standing in the room with Glenn Close or something as an assistant in the Nova Corps. But so she's worked on a lot of things with James Gunn over the years. She's just gotten more up front and in the camera, as I don't know, he discovered things about her.
I feel like I feel like she could be a really great Cat Grant. I feel like her dress and even what we're discussing makes sense for that character.
Yeah, she's a
But
gossip.
you didn't get to explore the character though, because like where we were reading some of the '90s Triangle characters comics, and then like I said, the Jeff Johns one, where Kat's going through some things and she's starting to try to just use her feminine wiles and persona because that's where she feels like she has value. But that's how you set up an arc. But we don't have enough with her. Like the one scene that she actually has more dialogue is like we see her talking about something, and then it's like interrupted. She asks Lois about who she is seeing. So like
Yeah,
actually-
she's talking to Lois. They're like she's trying to have a conversation with Lois as Lois is being distracted by her relationship and feelings with Clark, her the stuff that's going on in the world with Boravia and the other country.
Yep.
June.
June Hospital.
Juniper.
June.
Yep,
Yeah.
something like that.
Juniper,
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Could have just been Bialia. Could have been something we can pronounce. Nope.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, she was there as a Gotham columnist. I mean, she filled out the world. She got a little more lines, and I mean, Kat's always been interactive with Clark and Lois in the comics and all the shows. So, just kind of seems like she was at the Daily Planet.
Yeah.
You know, because they don't focus on anything else really with the newspaper. Clark gets the front page at the beginning, which is a big deal. It's like his front page story, but then he's getting like these interviews with Superman. So it starts with him getting the interviews with Superman and eventually transitions into, I think,
Lois.
I think he matures and is able to talk to Lois to be able to give proper interviews and not have that exact ethical conundrum with writing stories about himself.
So that tells us that this Superman and Lois dynamic, there never was the article My Night with Superman.
Yep.
So, which I
At least not yet.
Well, not yet, but it just seems like he's been the one writing it. And if you read that
After that
novel,
kitchen scene, I think she's had a night with Superman
or with Clark, Solomon's coming back here. Lombard. What would you think about Lombard, guys?
Of the peripheral Daily Planet castings, it was my favorite one. I think Beck does amazing work as Lombard.
I think it was great.
It was fine. I liked it.
He gets basically like 2 scenes in a line. He gets the scene where he's picking on Clark, like, "Hey, loser," and he's like, "Hey, Steve," and he's making fun, like, "What's chitlins?" Blah blah, saying stuff. His ma cooking up, blah blah blah, saying stuff. In sports writing, you do, and then,
well, he says the thing. How are we supposed to feel reading this? Trying to make opinion fact is twisting journalism. Like I think it's specifically coming from Clark more of a an integrity, a proper journalistic piece, except for, of course, the interviews with himself.
we just started talking Lombard. Like, it's your turn's about to be up, or you
were on the clock, man.
We know that you were yelling at people about getting their stuff turned into the Daily Planet.
Absolutely.
You gotta make print.
So, what do you think about Lombard?
Don't call him Chief.
Or print.
What do you think about Lombard?
Lombard. I really like the actor. I just really think he looks like Lombard. I feel like he is a good Lombard. I wish he got more screen time than Clark did. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to talk about Clark. But like, I feel like Lombard was just like, all right, we need someone to be a douche, and we can't have Kat to be a douche. Can't have Jenny to be a douche. Who do we do?
That's kind of Lombard's role.
Yeah,
douche.
So the biggest thing for me is just not enough to really. I love the Daily Planet. I just wish we got more. All right, Solomon, we will let you go first. Perry White.
More screen time, please. More long. He felt like he was just there.
And I mean, it goes by like why when we saw the trailers, we're like, oh, there's really no Lombard or Ron Troop or Perry or Cat in these trailers, except like the one shot. Perry's only part in the trailer was in the T craft. You know,
It's
I
his
like
biggest
this.
part in the movie.
I like this Perry though. He's definitely an actor that, with every little bit that he's given, he makes it something stand out. Like when Lois, um, you have the scene in the Daily Planet when he's sitting there calm as can be, listening to Lois and Jimmy tell the story while everything else is in chaos. You know, um, he seems he seems like a character that's really there that I want to see more of, because I feel like he has the Perryisms that I want. He looks a little annoyed, a little tired, but smart and caring and understanding, and he's intuitive.
No
So,
notes. Wendell Pierce is a fantastic actor. So
yeah, he just
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, fantastic actor. What we saw of him was pretty good. Don't call me chief. Making decisions on who can come into the craft with them. Uh, Reviewing and publishing the article on the go, on the fly. Like, yeah, it was fun. It was cool.
We didn't get a great Caesar's ghost though.
That's the thing.
But he is
Jimmy-
smart. He
Yeah.
is smart, and I think they're all smart around Clark and Lois.
Yeah, we'll get all right. Our man Jimmy Olsen. Who wants to go first on Jimmy? All right,
ahead,
Solomon.
Solo.
let's go, Chief.
He's my favorite character in the whole movie. I love Jimmy.
Solomon is Jimmy. Dude, this guy had so many
Yeah,
girls in the
okay,
last
okay.
play chasing him down. He's got a long-term girlfriend right now, but he had so many girls hitting on him at the play. Like,
He turned away from the camera.
I really like the actor. I mean, I really like his look. I mean, he just feels like the Jimmy that we needed. One of my favorite parts is when Eve sends him the
Selfies.
pictures, and and in the off he's like, yes, yes, yes. I love that part.
his line delivery is great.
Yes.
All weekend? Jesus Christ!
Yeah, right.
You tortured a dog? Jesus Christ! I still love that.
What do you think of him, Levi?
I really like Jimmy. I thought he was great. He was funny. I think. Yeah, I hope they flesh out the Daily Planet staff more, specifically him. One of the things my wife did point out, and back to what she was saying, like with Kat, is like, why did we need the Daily Planet staff of women like oogling Jimmy in the background all the time, though? Like,
My thought with that is like, it definitely sets this Jimmy apart to be a different kind of Jimmy, and it just kind of gives that more humorous when we get the reveal of his mysterious contact, because Lois is like, how do you do it, Jimmy? And he's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's part of it.
I'm just me.
Skylar does a fantastic job. He looks like Jimmy Olsen. His delivery is perfect. I mean, the way they wrote him, and in the comics, Jimmy is just inadvertently a ladies' man. He's been with a lot of women over the years in the comics, and currently with the Silver Banshee with Shaban. So
I like it
I
in
think
the
it's
90s.
just kind of that, like because he's a ladies' man in the comics. So in the movie, he's a ladies' man, and just like Lois said, she's like, "How do you do it?" she said like your super hot ex-girlfriend, and he's like, hot, like
It's
confused, like she's not hot to you. Like the before this movie, she was a supermodel. Like,
it's just crazy. Like Jimmy is hilarious because like reading when we were doing Electric
And-
Mullet, I was reading those early Triangle, and like Jimmy had a relationship with Cat Grant, and I thought that was an interesting thing to explore the younger man, the older woman. But I like the line in this where they drop about Jimmy's mom because like Jimmy's mom was such a like force in Jimmy's life in those Triangle era books. So she's like, "How's your mom?" She's like, "She's great." That one time you met her,
yeah, yeah, it was funny.
but I guess there is talk of Max. That James Gunn had mentioned potentially a Jimmy Olsen Max show.
Well, he's over there on the Righteous Gemstones.
So my quick pitch is: first episode, you have all the actors from there for the Daily Planet. So we see everyone in the Daily Planet,
Even Ron Troop.
and then Jimmy gets sent on an assignment. So then you go the next 4 episodes, Jimmy out on assignment, kind of on his own. Maybe 1 or 2 of the actors pop up he communicates with. The last episode, he returns to the Daily Planet, and we see some of the actors again. That's how you do your Jimmy Olsen series.
You know, one thing I'll say about Jimmy in this though is they don't really define. Not that the Planet group got a bunch of like definition. Is he a photographer in this one? Because he's never holding a camera.
There's one scene I think he had a camera. I think one. I think I could be wrong, but I think he's just more back to being the Cub reporter, but not a Cub, like just a young reporter.
Yeah, I
'Cause
think he's just
He had a
young
desk in the
reporter.
bullpen.
So you know, so I mean, I think they're just kind of making him there, you know, true. And the thing
And
is, I'll tell you,
he did copy. He was transcribing while
Yeah.
Lois was flying, as well as speaking the piece.
with cell phones and stuff the way they are now, like actually being a straight up just photographer for a paper is not much of a thing anymore. A lot of times they have the reporters do their own photography using phones and things. All right, our first big one, guys. Lois. We'll let Levi go first.
She's fantastic. She's probably second favorite Lois after Bitsy now. I mean, she's great. I wish she got a bit more to do that didn't revolve around Superman and Clark. Like it'd be cool if her investigation into Lex was like already ongoing and then it like wove into the main story. And that would have given us more background on Lex too, because other than him being an arms dealer, we don't really know much about him. So, but she was great. She killed it.
James.
Definitely. Well, she's Jamie's favorite Lois Lane. She is the best big big screen Lois Lane we've ever had, I feel like.
Yes, that's
and
insane.
and you know, tossing all the other ones in there. I mean, she's still at least near the top, you know. Honestly, that's a personal rankings there for everybody. But I thought she was pretty perfect. The only thing, kind of like he said in there, is because of Superman and Jimmy, is how she got pulled into the story. She didn't do any investigative journalism herself. Other than that, I mean, given that being she's a reporter, and that not being a big part of it, but her relationship with Clark, and the way she chases down every lead, the way she follows him, Mr. Terrific, into the Pocket Universe, like she is a damn near fearless and outgoing Lois Lane, and between and with their relationship together, their interview scene. I mean, she's pretty damn good. She is pretty damn good. I mean, she is the best big screen Lois Lane I've seen. Period. In my opinion, big screen, absolutely.
Solomon, thoughts on Lois?
I loved Lois Lane. I thought she was perfect. She was perfect. Her line delivery perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Absolutely perfect. I mean, what else can you say? Yeah, I mean, I really liked her. Once again, we saying this so many times, just more. And we'll break it down. All right. Eve Tessmacher. I will go first. When they said they were putting in Miss Tessmacher in this movie, I was a little frustrated because to me it was like, oh, they're just doing Superman the movie because that's where she started. She's never really made it into the comics. She did appear on Supergirl. But I think they used her brilliantly in this and being someone that everyone discounts her value and kind of in a abusive relationship and showing that like she's unintelligent, and the fact that she's obsessed with Jimmy Olsen in this almost psychotic, unhealthy, toxic relationship was hilarious. And the fact that he even told her like she has weird toes. And he says there are other parts of you that some people might find attractive, and her name and his phone is Mutant Toes.
It is Mutant Toes.
I was like, wow. But yeah, her when he messages somebody and gets a response and tells Lois like, you owe me, like you don't know how big you owe me. I was
yeah,
like,
it's a big ask.
I was like, who did he talk to? But okay, so what is your thoughts on Sarah Sampaio? I don't know. Her Eve Tessmacher. Anyone else?
I mean, they used her brilliantly. I think it was fine. I mean, all the selfies, getting everything in it was pretty crazy, but clearly she took a lot of those. Yeah, she was nuts. But like just being like the Lex's love interest, that's kind of how she was originally, where she came from, just kind of like the love interest. And I mean, she kind of screwed over Lex then by helping out Superman, and she screwed over Lex now. So just in a very clever way. So she was fine. I mean, it's very modern. It's just she was fine.
This was the one my wife had the
Hilarious.
biggest issue with.
Okay.
And after hearing her side of it, I did agree with her. Did she need to be a bimbo? Could you not have, like, when you revealed her secretly taking all the selfies with all the plans and stuff in the background, use that to make it be like, oh, she was acting like a bimbo, but she's actually really smart, and that was just so Lex wouldn't throw her in Pocket Universe prison?
Well, she did know that sending those pictures had the evidence in it.
Yeah, but the representation of it, coupled with Cat Grant, and then I'll bring it up when we get to Lex too, but tossing his ex-girlfriend in the Pocket Universe prison.
Oh yeah.
Because she wrote a bad blog about it. For my wife, it was just this like trend of like little things that came off as sexist that didn't need to.
No, I can understand that. I can understand that.
I do.
I am just giving the little defense. Like, she did know that stuff was there. Sending it to him, she said that was everything that he needed.
Because I liked her a lot at first. I thought it was funny, the mutant toes and her being obsessed with Jimmy. I thought it was hilarious. Then my wife was like, "But really think about it." And then the treatment of the other women in the movie too.
My thing is, I know women like that who are like overly joyed, almost annoying but they're not really bimbos because they're not stupid. They're intelligent, smart, but you don't think so because they're so upbeat and over the top. And once again, I feel like it's a character that we didn't get enough with to understand really what they were doing with. So,
Are we heading back towards Superman and Lois territory of maybe Superman should just be a TV show?
I think not. We'll get there because I feel like Superman. I love Superman movies because I love what you do with him. But this was a lot of people and characters to put in there, and they're trying to establish so much. And we'll get there. But all right, the next character is Otis. This was another one that I was like, they're putting Otis in here for real. The Otis that I had liked was on Supergirl when we learned that it was Otis Graves and he was Mercy's brother. Do you guys know what Otis's last name is in this movie?
No.
Berg.
No, I do not. Otis Berg. Nice.
Otis Berg. His name is Berg.
I love it.
So
That's
I thought that
awesome.
was hilarious. So if you look at the credits, it says Otis Berg, Berg, and that's his
That
name.
is hilarious. I love that.
And I
love seeing Otis and him being kind of like one of the smart guys in there working for Lex. It worked. I liked it. It was cool.
I think it's cool Otis is in there, but at the same time, like if they name that character anything, Bill, does it change anything?
No, but it's just nice to have the
Otis.
Otis works for Lex. Cool.
It's the universe building, but at the same time, like he had no distinguishing Otisness to him. That
I mean, kind of goofy, kind of goofiness, smile like Ned Beatty. Like this is just the African American Ned Beatty, I guess. But it worked. I like when he's like, "It'll get bigger."
Yeah.
But I just had to put Otis in there because it was named and it was funny. Okay, Ultraman.
We spent a lot of time talking about Ultraman a few weeks ago.
Yep. Solomon, I'll let you go first.
Okay.
Your thoughts on Ultraman, buddy?
And then I'll go.
And then James will go.
Ultraman? It was different. I really think Ultraman was going to be like someone that Lex found, and like it's like this person, not really a person, like an alien who's like deformed, not Superman alien, just like a regular alien that was like deformed and is like crazy looking. I thought that was gonna be Ultraman because I didn't know Ultraman. Yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't read the comics, but I didn't know Ultraman. But then the turn spoilers. Did you already say that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you're right.
The turn that he was Superman from cloned, I was like, what in the world? I was surprised. Surprised by Ultraman.
All right, James.
I mean, and this is honestly probably, like I said, my nitpicky thing, and it's only because it's a trope, Ultraman is a clone of Superman. He scoured battles and found enough of his DNA to be able to clone him, and so he's named Ultraman. He is a Superman clone who is dumb. All he does is follow orders, and I mean that's it. It worked. It fit. I like the setup. I like the the ending, the way it was resolved, the fight. I mean, when you see Kryptonians beating on each other, you've seen Kryptonians beating on each other. They did a good job. Pretty wild. And then the way that he was taken out, not necessarily just hit him harder, and so he goes flying into the black hole. Krypto was there. He got taken by a bus that was sucked into a black hole. So it was different, you know. I mean, it was a fun fight. It was kind of cool the way it all went down. But Ultraman, I know we've talked about different ways that who or what that Ultraman could be, and ultimately, I think it's the least creative and the least path of resistance. But I think he did a good job with it.
I agree with everything you're saying. I just wish that when the mask came off, he was more white, deformed, and was more like
I was gonna say he's not
Bizarro.
Ultraman and he's not Bizarro. He's not really.
And that's I
either
wish
one
they would
yet.
have made him more like Bizarro. They called him Ultraman, and Lex just said like, this clone, blah blah blah, with you, it's kind of failed. Because he makes the comment where he says about like it's not perfect, like when cloning. So if he would have looked a little bit more, Jania said he looked like Bucky,
He did.
Yeah,
and I think he looked like
was like
Anakin
Winter Soldier.
Skywalker. He
My
Yeah,
looks like
wife said
Anakin
if
Skywalker to
evil
me.
Anakin Skywalker. Either
Hannah
or.
said if you wouldn't have told me that was David Cornsweet, I would have known it was David Cornsweet.
He looked. His hair was brown. If he's supposed to be a clone, like. So, I just wish they would have leaned in, because we've never had Bizarro on the big screen, and when the mask came off, it was more of a Bizarro-fied David. I would have been fine with that, because then I'm like, oh, it's this version of Bizarro. Cool. All right, we knocked Bizarro out, and we're done.
Yeah. For me, so we'll go big picture. I like the design of Ultraman. I like the way he was used for the most part.
Mhm.
Like you said, James, it was the path of least resistance for the reveal. There were so many, and this is where you could get into having 20 more minutes. You could do so many. Ulysses was right there with the pocket universe,
Mm-hmm.
and you could even feed that into Ulysses went to another Earth, and he was the first because his parents were the first ones at LexCorp to figure out the pocket universe. And now he's come back and he's freaked out by Superman and he's trying to reclaim his home world. Like you could do actual Ultraman with the pocket universe. Like there's so many more interesting things they could have done than just the straight up clone.
I
He wasn't Ultraman and he wasn't Bizarro.
I would have liked the idea where it was like Parasite, but the way it worked, it was a containment suit.
Yeah.
And when he was around Superman, he absorbed his energy and copied it. So it made Superman weaker, but he didn't know it, but it gave him his powers for so long. Just something to make it a little bit more than just a straight clone. Unless they had, because I was almost going to see if they were going to come make it almost like a Superboy thing too, where, I was kind of waiting to see if they're going to twist it that way. Where it was a clone with Lex's brain, or he even drops a line about the next one will be better. I don't know.
I'd have to go back and listen to when we did like our wish list for the movie. But when we talked about Ultraman, I think our general consensus was like, oh man, but watch, it's probably just going to be a clone.
Yeah.
As like our throwaway line.
Yeah.
And here we are. And it was like, and my wife didn't catch it. I caught it on my Tuesday screening. They telegraphed it with the Fortress.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right away. So as soon as the
That's what I
Fortress
was
popped up, I was like, it's a clone. Okay.
Yeah. When he says,
that's
how
what
did
the whole movie.
When Lex is like, ye of little faith, that he's like, it's coded to my it's coded to my DNA. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Big Maxwell Lord.
They gave you everything you needed.
Maxwell Lord, what do we think?
Yeah.
Nice to see Sean Gunn.
Yeah. Good to see Sean Gunn.
Still
I was totally fine with what he says, and you know what? Honestly, I don't even care if it was a reshoot to put it in there. I liked it. I loved it.
Was it?
So I was like, that's right. I was
His
like,
one line
that's
was
right.
great.
And then you guys catch that he's on the painting that's sitting in the Hall of Justice with the Justice Gang.
Yeah.
See,
oh no,
my issue with Maxwell Lord.
Yeah.
My issue with Maxwell Lord ties into, why is he funding heroes? What is his role? Because if you look, all the technologies Maxwell Lord technology. Lois's
That's one
tape
of
recorder, the Daily Planet computers.
that's one of
Um,
my notes is what's the point of the Justice Gang? Like,
and my thought is this is where, because with our next character, I'll use this to lead into is Mr. Terrific. Why isn't he in Holt International or Holt Corporate or whatever his business is called? You know, what's going on with him? Why is he working for Maxwell Lord unless he's investigating Maxwell Lord?
obvious this is interviews with the cast. I saw one today when they asked the 3 Justice Gang members why they think their characters are part of the Justice Gang, and Eddie's answer for Mr. Terrific is that he was bored. So
Could be. Because if you notice, the Justice Gang is new because it looks like if you look on the mural, you see the original Justice Society. That's why we have the Hall of Justice, because the Justice Society already existed. So it looks like Maxwell Lord might have purchased this and is now setting up his own team there. Because it looks like they're moving in.
Oh,
And that's why they haven't settled on Justice Gang, you know, because they're trying to use justice.
like the Justice Society. Well, if metahumans have been around for 300 years,
But I mean, you look on the mural on the background, you see Wildcat, Our Man, Jay Garrick, Alan Scott.
well, that's awesome.
But so Mr. Terrific, I kind of was gonna like, I wish there had been explained why he is there, not in his own company. But Solomon, thoughts on Mr. Terrific?
He was pretty sweet. I'm not gonna lie, he was awesome. I did like his acting, and I really think he really inspired Mr. Terrific. He is the Mr. Terrific.
He is one. He is, like I said, I wish we would have got more. He's the other one that they're looking at a HBO Max series. I would love to watch that. Just give me a 6-episode Mr. Terrific thing. His fight scene is one of the best action scenes, and that's how you do a needle drop. Because remember, one of my things was I didn't want needle drops, but where you have it playing on a radio that makes sense in a scene, and then when he puts the T-Spears, when he puts the T-Spear dome over Lois, like it amplifies the sound. That's how you do it, man. That's how it works without just being a random song out of nowhere. I liked Mr. Terrific a lot. The performance, the story. I really wish he was the Justice Gang member that we focused on. And I mean that because, and this goes into my nitpicks, is I could have been okay with Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl not showing up until the end, when Superman makes the line about calling in some friends. Because if we're only making this 2 hours, I would have rather spent that time with some of our other characters. Because, you know, and I also wish, like with Mr. Terrific, like with the T-Spears, like when he shows up at the end in Lex's office shuttle, he doesn't have his T-Spears with him. And I wish he had, because I wish he would have recorded and broadcast that whole exchange between Luthor and Superman. Because his speech is great, but the world needed to hear that, not just Lex.
I do absolutely adore that scene, though. And then reading some of the behind-the-scenes stuff the actor talked about, where he didn't tell James Gunn he was going to mush the guy's face. Like, they had scripted a shove, but he's like, he went over to him. He's like, I'm going to shove your face and like mush you out of the way. And the guy was like, no, go for it. And then they did it. And James Gunn was like, do it harder next time. So like that coupled with the line delivery of like, goddamn Mr. Terrific.
His line delivery sometimes was great when he's like, dang, you brought that dog. Or when he's like, that's a fine dog. Because I like the idea that Mr. Terrific was a little bit more attached to Clark. And I love the line where like, I put nano trackers in his blood. Do that to all my friends.
Oh, I do that to everybody. He was like, oh, I do that to everybody. And then Hot Girl looks down and Guy looks over at her and
So, all right. We all agree that Mr. Terrific was awesome and we want more. of Mr. Terrific.
Yes,
Like
yes,
his
I liked
suit looked
Mr.
great.
Terrific. He was pretty awesome, and he's like, because it'll piss off Guy.
which is a great segue.
So
Yeah,
Guy Gardner's next.
So Nathan Fillion nails Guy Gardner, but I think there's two ways you do Guy Gardner. You either make him the butt of every joke like they did, or you can still make him the butt of every joke, but you can do it in the way they did at the end of the movie when he goes to Baravia and he's like, "Oh, Superman couldn't come. You're getting an upgrade with me."
yeah,
Like, I think that's the better way to make Guy Gardner the butt of the joke, because even though Guy Gardner's a dick, he's still one of the best Green Lanterns in the universe. Like, he's very good at what he does. He's just an asshole.
I feel like this Guy Gardner
Yeah.
is at a point where he's older, and this is like kind of like his retirement. We're like, okay, we're gonna just put you on Earth. You're not out there. You know, his jokes are like, I took a vow as the Green Lantern Corps. We are men of the cloth. Like,
yeah.
I was trying to explain to my mother-in-law, Guy Gardner, because she's like, he's such like, that's the character. What's with the hair? That's the character. They've just accentuated it and made it worse. Like, she's like, it's uneven. I'm like, I know.
I was talking to a guy at my comic book shop, my local shop, and he's a huge Guy Gardner fan. And he's like, he was disappointed with the hair, not because of the bowl cut, but because it's not like full on ginger. Like, it's very like strawberry blonde,
Oh my
as
god.
opposed to like full on redhead orange.
But see, I
Right.
could see Guy Gardner being part of a team like the Justice Gang where he's like, oh, I get to do my thing and get paid for it. And yeah, sure.
Right.
Like,
Yeah, he's a douche.
So yeah, I mean, I definitely want to talk about Guy Gardner. One
Go
little
for
thing
it.
out of the theater though, from the Mr. Terrific scene, after the whole thing went down, and he takes down the after he takes down everybody, and then he drops the shield, and Lois goes, "Holy shit!" Allura 2 seats over went, "Holy shit!"
you're like, oh man.
Look,
I
my kid's
wasn't
dropping
moved.
F-bombs, and he's 2.5, so...
Oh,
Salo does.
Sayla, like, she's like, can I say something, Dad? No, Sayla. She'd be like, dang it. She tries to get away
Yeah.
with stuff. I'm like, no.
But Guy Gardner, I mean, Nathan Fillion, you know, he's voiced Hal Jordan for years. You know, Captain Malcolm Reynolds, like, he would have been the perfect Hal Jordan back then. It is amazing that he can play such a smarmy character. He was perfect at two different points in his life to play two different Green Lanterns. Like,
Mhm.
that's amazing. So yeah, that's I loved it. I loved his middle fingers coming up out of the dirt. You know, flipping tanks and Humvees and everything.
Yeah, that's funny.
Or when they're fighting the interdimensional...
Oh, that scene is hilarious.
and
Yeah.
he's
Because-
just back there
He's got
wailing
a
on it with a
bat.
baseball bat.
That scene is great because Superman's so chill and just talk. There's a serious scene of him and Lois talking, and behind them is the Justice Gang trying to stop an interdimensional imp. He's like, yeah, I was looking for the dog.
Also,
Yeah.
can we talk about that real quick? Because like when we recorded our predictions a month ago or a month and a half ago, we were like, oh, that's got to be the third act, and it's literally just a throwaway, not a throwaway scene, but like throwaway action in the background.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
like, when we said, we've probably not seen anything from the third act, we were pretty close.
We just the third act was predominantly. It wasn't until the final trailer we saw some stuff from it, but it wasn't what it was him fighting more of. But because this, my thing was, and this is kind of an issue, is I really thought that this, like the kid raising the flag and all that stuff, was going to be at the beginning of the movie and was the catalyst.
Yeah.
We
We'll
weren't
get there.
wrong though.
We weren't exactly
No.
wrong, but
No,
we'll
we
get
called
there.
he did it. We called what he did. They just told us what he did. It
And
was already 3 weeks ago.
We'll get there. But All right, Hawk Girl. I liked Hawk Girl, but she serviced not really anything than just a female superhero. I want to know what her origin is. Like, what is her Hawk origin? Like, is she human with armor because her wings are gone? I don't think she's a Thanagarian alien because Lex has the line about the metahumans, and this one's an alien talking about Superman. And all we ever do is see her like scream and swing the mace, and she kills the douche president guy, dictator.
Which I liked.
One of the first things I did out of the theater was Google, when did Hot Girl have a screaming superpower? And there's like one specific version of her that did. So it was
That's
just like a
James
weird.
Gunn.
That's one of
Weird
those
inclusion.
James Gunnism. That's one of those James Gunn things. It was included enough just for her. It was overdone with the screaming goats by Taika Waititi in Love and Thunder.
Oh my god.
You know what I mean? Like it
I
got.
will
it
hear
got-
no
it got-
screaming goat slander.
No, the one last thing I had to say on Nathan Fillion there was, it's kind of cool that, because in the comics they are contemporaries. We know that they were nearly equidistant from the ring when it scanned after Abensor died, or crashed rather, and Hal was closer. So they're contemporaries. So it's actually kind of cool to see that in the show, the Lantern show coming up, that Kyle Chandler is older. They're older together,
Yeah.
It's kind of nice just that they kind of share that similarity kind of from the comics. I don't know
And
if they were working with that, but I like it.
And Nathan did say on the red carpet that in the Lantern show he drops more F-bombs than he ever has in his career. So,
Which that worries me for this point, not because I'm a prude, but because then does that feel like the same character we're seeing in this? It's one of my issues in the movie. But one of my issues, like in the movie Logan, is we've gone through this journey with Hugh Jackman's Wolverine, and then all of a sudden he's talking and acting like we've never seen him talk and act before, and then the professor's doing the same, and it almost feels like this isn't the same character I've gone on this journey with. So it just kind of makes me like, okay, how's this going to play out?
Well, we haven't gone on any journey with Guy.
Not really. So
we haven't gone on any.
and I think you can
and he's going to
separate
be
it.
in Peacemaker. I mean, he could easily drop some F-bombs in Peacemaker.
I think you can separate
Astro
Lanterns
Lord
from the
and
movie
Hawkgirl.
version pretty easily by saying that in the movie he's sponsored, so he's on his best behavior.
oh yeah, that's easy. All right, so
Guy's version of his best behavior.
let's get into a character that really everyone's like, huh, but really stole the heart, Metamorpho.
I mean, the practical effects of that costume are
Yeah.
absolutely insane.
I mean, okay, so besides Nathan Fillion, okay, I'm gonna bring this up. Do you consider Nathan Fillion kind of DC legacy casting? Yeah, but I kind of don't because
No,
I don't because he's also James Gunn's friend and has been in all of James Gunn's movies. And it's
But
kind of
he's
like
been voicing DC for years.
true,
For
so
decades.
it's like, oh, okay. But Anthony Kerrigan over here as Metamorpho was in The Flash, and he was Zaz in Gotham. So that's a DC casting.
I view him as them casting the best actor for Metamorpho.
Yes.
I think Nathan as Guy is James Gunn casting a friend who also happens to be a good fit for the character.
Yes.
Happens to be a good fit. Yeah, I like that.
Because one of my slight complaints is like, I mean, it did come out that Michael Rosenbaum voiced one of the Raptor guards. Okay. Oh, but like other than that, there's no other Superman like legacy casting. Like, there's no other previous Superman actors that appear in here in some other way.
I think you
No.
could say having Will Reeve as one of the reporters.
But he wasn't Superman. He's the son of an actor who played Superman.
Yeah, but
You know what I'm saying? Like, other movies and stuff have had previous people in the movie.
I mean, you had the perfect opportunity to send off Henry as having him as Ultraman.
Yeah, but too many people in that's too much controversy. But I mean, like, even in the background, like Superman Returns had Noel Neal and Jack Larson. Superman the movie had Kirk Allen and Noel Neal. What do you call it? Man of Steel. We pointed out how many flipping people are in that movie from Smallville, along
Yeah.
with Aaron Smolinski. So, you know, it just says like there was no other previous Superman people other than a voice line of Michael Rosenbaum somewhere, unless you count Alan Tudyk, who voiced Superman in Justice League, one animated Justice League movie, which was
Justice
Justice
League
League
War.
War. But then
First one.
Alan Tudyk has major DC cred, both animated and live action.
Yep.
So
Dr. Phosphorus, Mr. Nobody, Joker on the Harley Quinn, Clayface on Harley Quinn.
Van Wayne on Powerless,
Yep.
you know, so. But other than but Alan Tudyk, once again, it's like you're doing a voice of something kind of actor. Like, who do you get? Him. I mean, he did iRobot, he did K and Star Wars. But Metamorpho was amazing. The scene where he starts crying when the guy gets shot, which is probably one of the best scenes in the movie. You feel it, and then his line deliveries and everything when he's like, I can't make a son, but I can make something like a son. And you're like, oh, sweet. What do you
Yeah.
think of Metamorpho? Now, Solomon didn't know nothing much about Metamorpho, okay?
Until I watched.
So we watched the episode of The Batman, Beware the Batman, where Metamorpho gets created by Simon Stagg. So Solomon was kind of, so when we see the scene of Rex sitting on the couch, he's like, there's Sapphire. And then we saw Stagg Industries, the one scene. But what did you think of Metamorpho, buddy?
I think Metamorpho. I really like Metamorpho. I really think he is just a guy who Lex Luthor captured to basically kill Superman. But he does not want to kill. He doesn't want to hurt anybody. I really think would have been interesting is a flashback scene of when he was first getting his powers and like on the rage part and he didn't know what was going on. I honestly think that we should have got that.
Now,
He was pretty cool.
what do you think about Metamorpho's son?
Joey!
I mean, it's a nice plot device, and
As parents, we all know that we would do anything for our children.
Yeah.
So the fact that Lex is threatening his son to make Metamorpho make kryptonite, because we get the line by Rick Flag Sr. that we got not enough of in this movie. It felt like Frank Grillo was on set maybe 2 days, one day to do the walks scene, and the rest was all shot in that one room.
I did see an interview with him this morning where he said he was filming Tulsa King at the same time, so he was flying back and forth.
Yeah.
But Joey was cool, and once again makes you kind of more interested in Metamorpho. But Metamorpho was awesome. He's a character I was like, but James Gunn pulled that James Gunn magic with it, with a character that nobody cares about, and writing some strong heart to the character.
Yeah.
That's why at the end, when he shows back up, I was excited. Like when Superman says, the line, like, I called in some friends, and Metamorpho is one of the people that showed up.
Yeah. You got Guy Gardner and then Hawk Girl and Metamorpho show up, and I even like in the end he's like, Justice Gang, that's a cool name. You're in.
What do we think about the engineer?
Ooh.
I mean, she was pretty cool. I mean, she's just another villain, you know, plot device,
Yeah.
a creation by Lex Luthor.
I was a little let down.
Was she misused here instead of the Authority? I don't know. I don't have enough familiarity with her. I just know that she's more with the Authority, and I guess from what I've seen, she's similar in ways, except for being like, Silver Surfer metallic. But
I
I
kind of
like the
wish
nano machines.
there had been a link to the Authority through her, something kind of hinting at that. Like you said, she was a villain that's not really a Superman villain, just a DC villain that they used in this, which was fine.
I kind of wish it was Parasite though.
Yeah, me and Solomon really want Parasite. It was a different villain, but she reminded me just more like a Brainiac almost, where she like connected with the computer and the way her powers worked and stuff. She was serviceable.
It felt like she
I
was
found
there
it
to fill his lungs with nanites at the end.
and steal the message from the fortress, which we'll get to. I found it more interesting in the scene where she's arguing with the Lex when she looks like she's just wearing a sports bra and pants. Because I was like, I found that interesting because every other time she's wearing like the nanite suit, but like she talks about giving up her humanity. So I thought that suit was always on her, or like she had to take what I'm saying? Like I thought it was like her
Well,
skin.
we saw when she flipped over, she switched her hands to her feet and her head,
Right. Like so
from
we saw
upside down so she can basically change or do or look however she wants, I guess.
all right.
Also, why would you call her the engineer?
That's her name in the comics.
I don't know.
Crypto.
Scene stealer.
I know.
I no complaints on Crypto. He's the goodest boy ever.
I loved Crypto. He worked.
He's not even that good of a dog.
I wish he would have used heat vision though. Like that was the thing. Like I wish he would have used heat vision. Just showing more of his superpowers.
The speech, not even the speech, when Clark's talking to Lois after Crypto's taken, and he's like, he's not even that good of a dog, but he's out there and he's alone and he's probably scared. I literally, like, in the theater, I'm like, that's Superman. Like there. Superman caring that much about a dog. Like, that is the character. That was the moment I truly was like, James Gunn understands, like, the character.
I think the one that surprised me was when the squirrel.
Oh, when he saves the squirrel?
Yeah, when he saves the squirrel.
Yeah. When Superman saves the squirrel is pretty sweet. Like he values all life. And we'll get there. Lex. All right, we're on the last two big characters, and then we'll talk more about the film and stuff. Lex. My only negative towards Lex is I would have liked to have had a scene from the comics of like my favorite where he walks out of Luthor Corp or Lex Corp or whatever, and people are like looking up and praising him, and we saw more people kind of praising Lex Luthor than just like the TV personalities, but like seeing the average people praising Lex Luthor, saying things about how great Lex is, because it seemed like so many of his scenes were just him on his office ship.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick Holt absolutely kills it as Lex. I do wish there's something to set up why Lex is like in Superman Birthright, where he has like the daily lottery.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah,
like something like that. Like, why do people in this universe like Lex?
And that's what I want. That's why I'm going to say it now. There are too many characters.
Yes.
And Jania even said there are too many characters. And as much as I liked him, I would have had Mr. Terrific in there. I would have had Guy and Hawkgirl show up to the very last scene where they help in the war. And that would have been their introduction. because every other scene they're in could have been filled in with more of building up these characters, because we need to know who this Superman is. We need to know who these characters are, because this, in a lot of ways, this movie feels like the sequel to something we haven't seen.
I've seen that said a few times. This is literally in my notes. The Justice Gang is there, but also not really. Like, we don't get much beyond their names and their powers.
We don't get why they're funded. Nothing. Like, there's so much
Yeah,
question.
the only reason they're there, the only reason they show up in the first place is because of that kaiju fight for Superman to say, I wanted to get it out of here alive. Or,
Yeah.
we could at least euthanize it in a, less painful and brutal manner. Like,
So
that's
I
what
want
that's
to,
what their initial setup was for,
like, if
and
there
then
was
give 'em
something
backup later on.
where there was a war between like LexCorp or Luthor Corp and Lord Tech, where Lord has his own group of metahumans. Lex is making the engineer, he's making the Raptors, and he's making Ultraman as Planet Watch, and they're competing for government support or something. There's more questions, and there's no material to really help us with those. The Welcome to Metropolis Junior novel that me and Solomon read, it was enjoyable, but it really doesn't play into anything in this. It doesn't really help us feel like we know much more about the world. Like, it'd be awesome if we had more of a novel or a comic about the Justice Gang, more tie-in material that helps us understand this, because this is all new world.
It does look a sequel.
Metamorpho works because of where he's used and why.
I wish you got more stuff on his side.
But I mean, like I said, like, you shortchange the Daily Planet, you shortchange the Justice Gang. You have too many characters,
Which was one of our fears we had.
And now, if you would have
Coming
given me
in.
20 more minutes of movie, because there's scenes in this that don't breathe. Like, there's scenes where the cutting is like, okay, I get why you're doing this, but I would have liked to have maybe seen the moment before, or like
Oh, it's an
giving.
interesting transition. Like, they go from the Pentagon scene, slapping a briefcase shut, locking it down, and then Lois unlocking her door and walking in.
Well, that's a great transition.
Yeah,
but I mean,
good
like,
transition, but just like boom, boom, one
but
thing
like,
to the next.
when Clark's like, I'm gonna turn myself in, and he's like there with Lois. The next thing is his face being put into the ground, and then escorted by Rick Flag and his on the street. It's so fast that I'm like, you could almost cut that and just have him walking off the helicopter. It would have done the same impact. You know what I'm saying? Like, we didn't need them walking through Wade Street, because everything that you get in that scene, you pretty much get when that helicopter lands.
Yeah,
and
they
he
would have
walks up
just
to
had to
the-
have somebody else give him the exposition of you don't have the same rights because you're an alien and we can't hold you, so we're letting Planet Watch do it.
Yeah. But back to Nick Holt. Okay. His delivery on that final scene, that final speech, but when he talks about like Da Vinci and Galileo, where it's like he's talking so much that he's out of breath, but he's still pushing it to get his speech out. Great. I mean, that's Lex. If you've read how Lex has gone psycho, gone crazy, and it's a very all-star kind of Lex, it's right there. My favorite Lex scene is when he throws the cup and tells them to pick it up. And they pick up the cup and the pencil, and then he pushes it off the desk again as soon as they put it down, and they pick it up again.
Yeah, that kind of goes with the idea of the worship scene. That is something that that Lois talks about, the prophet angle, that he's going to be some tech messiah to some people in this tech promised land.
Nick Holt is great. This was an idea my wife and I kicked around. Like, instead of locking up your ex-girlfriend to be a blogger to show that like he's just petty, why not give Ron Troop something to do and have Ron Troop write a bad article about him, and then have Ron Troop be missing and be in the Pocket Universe? You
And
can
then
you
Clark
don't even have to make a thing of it. Like just on one of the chyrons, when they're cutting to the news, you have Ron Troop, Daily Planet reporter, still missing. And then when he's in the pocket universe, this reporter wrote a bad article about me.
And then Clark finds him. And
As opposed to it being the ex-girlfriend.
right.
Who's
And
in
Clark,
a kind of skimpy dress.
And Clark saves Ron Troop. Superman saves Ron Troop. Especially the scene where, Lex says that person you give those reports to, what's his name? Clark Kent. I'll kill him too. Maybe I'll kill him next. Like if Ron was there, it would have been more interesting. Like, no, not Clark.
Yeah.
But Nick Holt's Lex was great.
That scene where he does kill the falafel vendor is kind of terrifying. Like
it is. And like he goes, "Oh, I thought that would have lasted longer." Oh well.
Like it's unhinged.
But I mean, that's the breaking scene of Metamorpho. And then when you hear Superman cry out and cry and says like his name, and then did you guys catch the newspaper at the end of the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It says real hero of Metropolis. I think it's by Clark Kent, and
It's by Clark Kent. He's doing a different kind of piece now. He's not doing the Superman angle. He's doing the human angle.
Yeah,
and he's praising that guy because dude, that scene is the where he's like, "I believe in you, Superman. I have no family. Blah blah blah. It was a pleasure to serve."
My
Boom.
God.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So good. So terrifying.
Yeah, Lex is evil in this. I mean, he not only does he creates. He says he created the conflict just for the chance to kill Superman. So he's put thousands of people, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people's lives at risk just for the chance to kill this guy.
Okay, so Clark Kent, Superman, Corn Sweat. Let's go. Solomon, go first.
Okay, so I love the Superman. I really like David Cornswet as Superman. Okay, I'm always saying Superman. Okay, him as Superman was pretty sweet. I really think he captured the character. So him as Clark Kent, we did not get enough screen time as Clark Kent with the glasses and with the hairdo.
One scene. We have
Two scenes. 3 actually. 2.
What scenes?
When he's walking, and when he tells Lumber to shut up.
Well, all that's in the same. We don't ever cut out of that. You know what I'm saying? Once we get there, we're in that.
Yeah, only in one scene.
So one little scene is he actually Clark at the Daily Planet, and that was disappointing because I really wanted to see him bring this character to life with Clark, but his Superman was dead on. His Superman was great, and his normal person Clark was great too. Like, him with his parents, him with Lois in her apartment, and then the juxtaposition between Lois's apartment and Clark's apartment, where he just feels like a good guy, just a guy. I love that, and I loved him as the character. I wanted more, and I know that I keep saying that, and that's where I go, like, there's too many characters that you take away from Clark, so we don't get to see him interact with Perry or Jimmy or Kat or Ron, seeing the Daily Planet staff actually work together. We get one scene of Jimmy and Clark together.
My working theory lately has been the Superman actor doesn't play 2 characters. He plays 3.
Mm-hmm.
He plays Superman, he plays Daily Planet Clark, and he plays the Clark his family knows.
Yes.
And he does a great job with the Clark his family knows, but we literally get like 30 seconds of him being other Clark.
And even in that, the majority of that's him bantering with Lois, who knows he's Superman. And then, okay, so this is where it goes back to not the comics aren't always the best. is James Gunn brought up the glasses or the hypno glasses. Okay, that was something in the comics, and Mike Carlin commented on a post on Facebook like, he says, "No, we just stopped using them because we didn't need to." And it's like those are one of those things you pull from the comics that doesn't mean that it's a good thing. You know.
I did love that it was kind of this throwaway line though, because they don't talk about it, like how it affects him other than a conversation, like talking about him in a third person. But it was I loved how it was this little transition into, about the hypno glasses, so he's Clark Kent. Just like, why does he trust everybody?
Because we're men of the cloth.
Yes.
But see, okay, here's an example.
We are of
This-
the cloth.
And this is like from the comics. When he leaves Lois's apartment, he doesn't put the glasses on. It would have been great if he would have left Lois's apartment. We saw him walking in the hall. Someone goes, "Hey man, you look like Superman." And he's like, "Thanks, I get that." And he just keeps walking. And then he pulls out his glasses and puts them back on. That would have been a great little scene. You know what I'm saying? Like, or that we kind of saw like what his face or something kind of looks like from other people's perspective when he's wearing the glasses.
That was one of my issues, especially with the hypno glasses idea. I think it's fine if you want to do it. Like, cool, be my guest. But like, why go through the trouble of having the broccoli hair and the badly fitting suit and all that? And then, so we go from the Daily Planet to Lois's apartment, and he's got different hair. And he's carrying himself, like, obviously he can carry himself differently. He changed his hair when he got to Lois's.
Because he probably flew there and was just like, he flew there and then just left his super hair, but Corn Sweat, like, I still, my scene with their whole scene of them back and forth, when he just breaks down and just says people were going to die, is my favorite, because he gets angry because this Superman is not putting up with the geopolitical crap and says people's lives were on the line, and that's all that mattered. Yeah. My biggest problem with this movie, in screenwriting, in film, they tell us, show, don't tell. Your biggest thing about this, you don't show us, you just tell us. I would have wanted this movie to, I do not like it, but it does feel like we get dropped, just like Superman landing in the ice at the beginning of this movie. I thought that they were going to show us, and then when the sun, hits him and it kind of fades and changes scenes, we were going to flash back to him stopping the war, because I thought I wanted that scene. That's what I felt like was missing. And my wife said, like, I liked the movie, but I felt like something was missing, like in the heart. Like, and I feel like if you would have given some more time to have that opening scene of him stopping that war, because then I feel bad at the end that he never meets Flag Kid. That's what I'm calling him. Like, even if he would have shown up afterwards, like, hey man, thank you for raising the flag in my name. It gave me the boost I need, and I had to send my friends to help you. But thanks for believing in me. Like, the fact that he didn't meet Flag Kid, I want to see him bust some tanks up and all that stuff. Even of it, that's my Superman right there. And then it would have gave more of a threat when the hammer shows up and we see him lose for the first time, instead of being told that he just lost for the first time. And then I'm on my rant. I'll let you talk. So those two things there bugged me, because I think it's just important, because then other characters are referencing, like, maybe you shouldn't have done that thing in whatever that other country we can't pronounce is. I'm
gonna get Jar and Pur.
Jar and Pur.
Is that it?
Jar and Pur.
So the other thing is, I would have liked this when he was giving that whole speech to Lex at the end, or somehow he did an article or he did in a speech where he addresses directly, like, this is one of those things I wanted, where he goes back to his conversation with Lois. He makes a statement on TV or whatever, that I am Superman. I am here for the world. I'm here to protect all life, not this country, not that country. I'm here for all life. I don't act for a country. I don't act on behalf of a country. I act on my own will for the good of all people to preserve life. I would have liked that kind of a speech, him addressing everyone. After, like, we see the news reports saying Lex
Yeah,
Luthor
then you run
betrayed
the
us.
risk of like the Henry Cavill, uh, uh, I'm just gonna have to trust you. That whole angle, you know what I
Well,
mean?
I mean, the whole
Like
point is in
that
Lois's interview.
political.
Well, I mean, Lois's whole interview was, did you ask the president? Did you seek on behalf? You entered airspace illegally. Did you,
Well, I still think that's another thing that's in this movie to show us Superman's character, not as a driving plot point for something that we should see or have to see. It's we're getting Superman's character in that moment. People were going to die.
also saying that audiences sometimes need to be told directly. They can't always piece like, oh, that's what he was doing. No, they need to be told, like, because I'm here for everyone. Because we know how some people look at things.
Yeah.
Okay, my rant's over. I'll let Levi talk now.
Two things. That's actually in my notes is as one of my issues is we never see Superman in Bravia or Jarm Park, which just feels like a missed opportunity, whether you do it as the flashback to when he stops the war or the kid. Take your pick. We should see him at least once there. But his whole interview with Lois, it made me think of not the Civil War movie, but the Civil War comic with Captain America. And when the mob and the press tell you, and the whole world tells you to move, your job is to plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth and tell the whole world, no, you move. I feel like that is the interview with Lois right there. He's sitting there like, I don't care what the world thinks. People were going to die, and no one is dying on my watch.
Yeah. Like this movie, okay, you said the Civil War, like this movie reminds me a lot of Captain America Civil War in the sense that, yes, this is a Superman movie, but much like Captain America Civil War is a Captain America movie, there's a lot of other characters get play at the same time.
Yeah.
What else is my notes here? Okay. There's little things like I wanted to see that we didn't get, which is fine, like the signal watch. Some scenes of him just flying around the city or flying and people looking up. Like I would have liked. There's no Creature Commandos connection I could make. I was listening to see if there's anything about Bloodshot shooting a bullet, or him talking about being shot by kryptonite. Didn't hear that because I was curious about that. We didn't get him speaking different languages. And the worst one that kind of gets me, guys, do you realize we didn't get a shirt rip?
Yeah.
We never even saw him going from Clark to Superman.
No, but this might be the Superman movie that we have Superman on screen most of the or more time than any other film.
It's it between him and Man of Steel. I'd have to do the timing.
Yeah.
Because Man of Steel, like once he puts on the suit, he goes back to regular clothes once for that short scene with Lois in the cemetery, and then he's costumed the rest of the movie.
You're right.
All right. Are some so now we're just kind of like talking openly, like favorite parts, good, bad, things that disappointed you. In the future, James and I are big on, by the time it hits digital, maybe we'll do like a commentary, and then we'll wait a year or two and do a commentary or something and have an open discussion beat by beat type thing. But so we're just kind of in talk territory right now.
Let's hit the elephant in the room then. I think in the movie, the Kryptonian message.
Do you guys still okay? Part of me believes that it's still false on the end.
I have to believe that.
And it's to me. If you go to Jonathan Tyler Patrick, or I think it's just my personal YouTube channel, you'll see I dropped my pitch for what I think Superman 2 should be, and then I added to it. And if you guys just go listen to the added to it part, it's only like 3 or 4 minutes. I do a whole pitch of what I think with the message could be a lead in for the second movie. Because I feel like that's just wrong if that's true. But if there's a technology that's out there, because I feel like Mr. Terrific should have identified it or something like later that there was an anomaly or something in it, because the engineer's technology is very advanced. So you're telling me her technology couldn't alter it to where even, the high-tech people couldn't determine that it was wrong?
Here's my pitch. Here's what I thought was going to happen. Is Kara's cameo was going to be her explaining the Kryptonian to rule meant to like lead or guide people. And that was my hope. I know I went and did research after the second viewing because it's still bugging me a lot. There are versions where Jor-El does say your destiny is to rule them.
And
but they always backtrack. Like Smallville was one of the more recent ones, and the early Jor-El AI in that said his destiny was to rule. But by the time we got to the end of the series, it wasn't. So,
and I just sent you guys the link to my thing. I just feel like there's some space in there. I don't like it, but I think that there's some space in there to kind of work with the sequel. And if you listen to my pitch, it makes more sense. Not saying I'm the greatest there is or anything, but
I think it it could easily be manipulated to say one thing then say another. Because what they're saying is Kryptonian. What's the translation that he has? Did he translate it? Did the robots translate it? I
right.
understand that linguists, can like work and build off of it and help to translate a language and things like that with what they're given there. But also, it certainly discredits the video itself with Lex's plan being exposed.
Right,
So,
exactly. And I always like in movies where like it's playing and then there's like a fuzz scene and then the bad part starts where it looks like it's been messed with. You're like, someone's got a quick thing to say. Lay it on, Solomon.
I'm gonna go to sleep, guys. I'm tired. And I have a long day today.
What's your letter grade for the movie, Solo?
Yeah, what would you get a letter grade?
Ooh. Like, what do you mean, like A to Z?
A to F, like school.
Okay. Maybe like an A plus, A.
Okay.
I think just straight A.
Okay, cool.
Awesome.
All right. Go get some sleep, buddy.
Bye, guys.
So there's so much, like we could talk more. We've already been talking for a while, but like we could talk more. We will talk more in the future on this, but the Supergirl cameo was awesome.
Yes.
I like that.
And I appreciate it. And the thing is, it sets up the Supergirl movie's arc. Like I read the comic Woman of Tomorrow back in 2023 when James Gunn said they were going to base the movie off of it. And she starts off in a bar drunk. It's her birthday party. And they set that up to show her as like being this reckless, selfish child. And it's setting up where she has to grow in that story. I'm glad that she appeared in the movie and not as a cameo or a post-credit scene.
Yeah.
Um, you know, I knew she would do something when he said the dog was more of a fostering situation. I was like, okay, so the dog's Supergirl's, and he's watching Crypto for her. But I just feel like I kind of wish one of the post credit scenes had been her like really kind of showing us a little bit something for her movie. So
Yeah.
people would understand why Supergirl was acting the way she was. I mean,
Right.
I could have done without the bitch part, but because I see a lot of complaints.
Well,
about
she's
that.
drunk.
Right? I know that, and you know that, but I'm just saying a lot of people online complaining about it because they don't
Oh, I'm
know
sure.
where the story's going to go. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you know, why wait for the movie to be presented to you, you know?
well,
Right.
I think a lot of people don't realize there is going to be a Supergirl movie. You know, that was their first introduction that there is some sort of Supergirl.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, read that comic. We're reading it for the podcast next year, but I've been read it beforehand. I don't care.
I'll give it another try. I've tried twice, and I can't make it past the second issue. So I'll give it another shot.
I restarted it last night and I got the first issue done. Real quick, I made a list of Superman's powers, and I want to make sure I got them all on what we saw. We saw heat vision, we saw flight,
Yes.
strength, speed. Did we see super hearing?
No, not really.
I think you
don't-
could say it was implied when he's searching for Crypto, though.
Right, but okay. Any other sights like telescopic or microvision or anything? Any other sights we saw?
We definitely saw X-ray.
Yeah.
Because one of my things I had told before that I wanted to see was I wanted to see him like from Birthright, see like radio waves and stuff like that. We didn't get that. We didn't see him use solar flare. That's fine. We saw super breath, but we didn't see freeze breath. Am I missing anything?
I think we saw the freeze breath with the dog because the water froze under the dog when he slid.
Okay, so we did see it. I was just thinking super breath, but see that's
I mean,
another
it
that's
could be
another
crossover there.
See that's another
kind of
scene
a crossover with them.
where it's like they say, "Oh, it'll get bigger," and the smash cut is him holding the kaiju's foot, trying to get the dog out of the way. You know, how much cooler would have been if the scene was, "Oh, it'll get bigger." You get the shot of the kaiju coming, you know, in the park, huge, and Clark's in his office and looks out, gives Lois a look. She has to make an excuse or something. And then we see Clark run off, goes for his tie. Then we see him fly off, you know, into the park and catch the foot or something. You know what I'm saying? Like it just kind of like it's like you undercut some of the drama by just all of a sudden giving us that him holding the foot and blowing the dog to the side. So
I'll toss something out here because we talked in the beginning about like the reactions we saw personally.
yeah.
My best friend, who granted I didn't see it with him, he's 6 hours away, and apparently is a closet Henry Cavill super fan based off the conversations I've had with him the last 2 weeks leading up to the movie. His reaction to me, he gave it 3 out of 5. And his one like note was, why is Superman getting his ass kicked so much in this movie? So I think to some general audience people, and he's a nerdy guy, but he's not as into it as, you know, the three of us.
Yeah.
The Superman constantly getting his ass kicked could be a little off-putting.
I mean, I thought about that too because he gets beat, but he also beats back. You know, and I mean, I get it when you look at like he's trying to stop the kaiju, but he's trying to stop the like not kill the kaiju until the Justice Gang shows up and they're just okay with killing it. And then you look at he's fighting the Engineer and Ultraman, and that's like one of the point is like we haven't said it yet, but Lex created the hammer of Baravia, and it was Ultraman basically in an iron suit was the hammer of Baravia, which I thought was great because I think we said that or we thought
Funko
that in a
spoiled
chat.
it.
But the whole big thing was the hammer defeated him for the first time he ever lost a battle was fighting the hammer. Once again, I would have liked to have seen that battle. Okay. So it's like we missed 20 minutes from what the movie opening should be. Well, that explains why he's getting his ass kicked is because Luther, it's all implied. Luther studied him, and Luther's controlling Ultraman, much like the scene in All Star where he's controlling in space, and he's beating him, and Superman's losing because he's fighting someone that Luther's engineered to be stronger. But Luther's controlling him. So, but once again, that's all kind of implied because it's said, it's not really shown as much of why Superman's all of a sudden getting beat. But he's also getting beat up because he's fighting powerful forces too. Like the engineer is strong. But I mean, he like it's kind of like the scene where he takes out all the raptors and he just gets that one shot real quick of him after taking out all the raptors before he gets tackled by Ultraman. But he just keeps fighting.
Right. I mean, he's invulnerable to a degree. I mean, he's in that proton river or whatever that that would tear somebody apart. And he survives inside of it. It doesn't rip him apart. He's got an invulnerableness, but people of his power level, he's not like just impervious. Henry Cavill was damn near impervious.
Yes.
Kryptonians in that respect were damn near impervious to just about anything. This one in here, he's just more vulnerable. He's less powerful. He's not.
You mentioned it, James. I was curious what you guys think, because to me, and this was one of my 3 big points that bothered me. The second act is the weakest to me. Like the escape from the pocket universe. CGI slop, man. That was rough.
And that's where I was watching it today and I'm like, I could have easily dealt with him punching out, getting Joey, then getting Crypto. And when he grabs Crypto is when this T-Sphere finds him and he's like, terrific. And he's like, follow me. And they just fly out of there. I could have done without the whole in the proton river. Because like you said, it's so much CG and it's so much so fast. I could have easily just been like, okay, take that time and go put it somewhere else.
And it just doesn't serve. It doesn't. Not everything has to advance the plot in a positive way, but what is the point of that?
I mean, it's just to show off Metamorpho doing some stuff.
You could have had, if you wanted him to have to fight to escape, just have him fight the raptors on the way to the portal.
Yeah. Just have him fighting the raptors and flying out, and it would have been a little bit more the whole point is but it's so fast and so hard, he's holding Joey up the whole time to protect Joey. But yeah, that's great, but I could have done without it. It could have just he flies out real quick and we see that he's still poisoned with kryptonite.
Yeah, that whole second act just really dragged it to a crawl for me.
The other thing is there's no scene with Flag, because Flag acts like he's kind of on Superman's side, but there's no scene of the U.S. government saying, okay, what have you learned from him, Luther? What questions? We want to be there for the interrogation. And Luther trying to get around there's no involvement from the American government after they turn him over to Planet Watch. And then at the end, there's no comment made by the government or anything. So it's like they bring up some big stuff and then they just kind of drop it. There's the comment about, oh, I'm so glad you're good with the metahumans, Rick. since now they're the ones making the rules.
Well, haven't
Right.
they been making the rules for 300 years, apparently?
Like, you know,
That was another
like
thing that bothered me.
the 3-3-3-3-3.
Yeah.
Like, once again, that's just setting up history of like, that's what I'm saying. I'm not a huge fan of how it starts.
Yeah.
I would
And
like
that allows us to have a Justice Society movie, though.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the problem is you're starting this movie in a point where we can move forward and backwards. Is that good for this movie or not? Is this movie suffering because you're dropping me in a world that I have to learn forward and backwards? And you've already told me that
Well,
Creature
you don't have
Commandos,
any history. You don't have any future right now.
right? That's what I'm
The
saying. But we
movie,
know,
the movie pretty much stands alone on its own, though.
right? But supposedly,
Yeah.
Creature Commandos is supposed to be in the same, DC universe.
For me,
Well, it's very much a comic book universe. I could see it existing in that,
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's nothing that ties it in that. There's no comment that kind of like, oh, that's because of this, or so.
the lack of, I mean, it's a movie and it's the kickoff. It's the real kickoff of their universe, which I'm not expecting them to dissect 300 years of apparent history for us, but I'm a big fan, and it's comics, so you can take it or leave it on, what you want to be canon in the movies. I love, the reason I like Doomsday Clock so much is because it sets the tone that no matter what Dr. Manhattan did, Superman happens first.
Yes,
Superman is the catalyst for this universe. This universe doesn't have metahumans if not for Superman. And I saw I think I said it earlier in a review where they're like, to make Superman exceptional is always the struggle of filmmakers. So to make it easier, they just made him another hero. He's the strongest of them, but they drop you into the middle of a story and he is there.
that's why I don't like they said I don't like having the Justice Society before the Justice League. I like the Justice Society being the Earth 2 counterparts. But we'll take what we get, and but once again, it's like, what are we doing different on film so it
Well,
doesn't feel like retreading the
yeah.
same things over and
Each
over.
universe is different, though. Each
Mhm.
universe is different. Each film universe is different. Each television universe is different. Each comic book universe is different. And in each comic book, and then in the comic books, you have multiple universes that are different. So to have Superman come out at this time where some have existed before this. Were they big and popular, or were they just kind of like hidden and unknown?
It's this world is
You
definitely a
know,
world.
like having a Justice Society before Superman exists. I mean, that's a timeline that's a universe with a linear timeline. Where
Mhm.
Superman is just the best of all of them, the best and the strongest of all of them. Like the gold standard didn't even arrive until however many years later.
It'll be
So
interesting to see how how the studio, I don't want to say Gun specifically because they seem to be letting them do the director's driven idea, but how they flesh this out, because now you've given yourself the sandbox of 300 years. And you can't just let that sit.
I said this to Solomon earlier. Like, I'm really excited for Supergirl just because it's the first thing from the new DC universe. It's not written and directed by James Gunn.
Yeah.
Right.
Superman was written and directed by Gunn. Peacemaker was directed some, but written by Gunn. Creature Commandos was written and directed by Gunn. So I really am looking forward to Supergirl, and so something's different.
Absolutely. Yeah, that'll be nice to see something a little different.
I just my bottom line for this film is I think there's too many characters, and I would have liked more to the film to help explain things, to give characters time to develop, breathe, to discuss, so that not every event is plot driven and there's not every scene has to contribute to the plot. That there's just parts for just there to be fun parts with these characters. Um, what would you letter grade it, Levi?
I'm trying to do the math from a 4 out of 5 to we'll go an A,
Okay,
just a 90%.
James.
Yeah, I give it an A.
I went A minus, but
So, it sounds like there's a little bit more that you didn't enjoy or anything, or
I didn't just enjoy it. I guess
nitpicks or whatever.
it's a little bit more nitpicky. A lot of it's just from
Yeah.
my storyteller self that I would
Yeah,
have liked.
well,
to
from
see.
your storyteller self, it sounds like you're trying to
Fix it.
you're trying to get more
Mileage.
corners of the
Yeah.
story flushed out, where
Yes.
this movie has a story, but you can somebody can work within those corners. You're asking for more people, you're asking for more things in here when you're already saying there's too much.
Yeah,
in
take out
certain
some to flesh out others.
So.
That's my thing. Like, take out some to flesh out others. Where would you put it in your Superman ranking?
I have it at 2. Like I said, it's gonna seem like I talked a lot of shit about it, but I really enjoyed it. The good outweighs the bad. So
I have it. It's in my top 3. I can't place it just yet. I need to sit on it. I think having this week, listening to some other people's, because I haven't listened to any other reviews or podcasts or anything, and then going back and seeing it again next week. Right now, my top 3 is this, Superman the movie, and Man of Steel. If we're doing live action, we throw in the animated, we know how that goes. So right now it's just kind of like Levi's, like I said, my number 2. But I need to sit on it. I think it can switch back and forth because I really like the characters. And just because, like, giving it some time watching it, and sometimes, really kind of like, okay, this is the story they're telling and this is what they gave me. Okay. Compared to what I was looking in this for or what I thought they were setting up with it. So I just really want to see more I really want a sequel to this because Corn Sweat did sign on, for a sequel and everything and more. We'll probably hear something within this week after the box office return about if we're going to get a sequel, if it'll be fast tracked. It would be nice to go ahead and do a Superman sequel and have it come 2028, or I think 2027 would be too soon.
Do you want Gunn to direct it?
I feel like he would do it. I feel like he'd have to do it, because I feel like he put so much of his, like, you can't have a writer director do a film and not have their fingerprints of their isms in it. Because I see some people saying, "Oh, that's like a James Gunn, or that's like Guardians of the Galaxy." Well, yeah, because that's him as a person putting things. He's trying to adapt to different characters. He's not doing disservice to the characters or anything, but he is just like a musician doing a cover of a song or anything. They put their personal style into it. So I feel like if they did another one, James would direct it because I feel like he's that kind of person.
I will say I applaud him reining in his normal tendencies, because there's the one needle drop. There isn't the 4 or 5 that we get in the Guardians movies. The humor is definitely there, but it's different and it's toned down compared to what he normally does.
Right.
So, like,
and I
his
think
fingerprints are on it, but he definitely
he's also working,
pulled back.
He's also launching a studio. He's launching a franchise. He's, putting himself out there, but he's dealing with one of the 3 most famous comic book properties and characters there are. The Guardians, nobody cared for them, so he got to play around with them. Suicide Squad and Peacemaker, he got to do the low-hanging fruit jokes. This he couldn't do that. He had to make the 4 quadrant for everybody comic book movie.
And he did a good job. I
Yeah.
mean, it's my
Listening
just
to
offhand, it's really like it's probably like my second favorite Superman movie. You know, like my number two. It's I mean, it's really great. I think it's a fantastic movie to kick off the DC universe, and um, you know, I really hope after it seems like $122 million weekend opening weekend. It sounds like hopefully it's going to be a fantastic success, and I think a lot of people, I think everybody needs to see it. You know,
I mean,
there's a
we
lot of
also
stupidity going around these days, and this is very wholesome and
Being good is punk rock.
yep.
exactly.
I won't even break
Exactly.
I won't even. I had a whole speech about that whole thing, but because punk rock is so much about going against social norms, going against the grain, doing things on your own.
Yeah.
My door got slammed.
And when being a good person and caring about others goes against the norm,
Yeah,
that is punk rock. So
exactly. What else? Crap. I was gonna say the movie probably has legs too because um, the Smurfs is not going to give it any
oh no.
trouble. Smurfs is going to get annihilated. I don't think anyone knows that movie exists or is coming out at all.
I didn't even know it exists until I saw a preview for it.
And it's got 2 more weekends until Fantastic Four. So
yeah. So it's
And there's
I think it's gonna,
I saw some predictions of a Barbenheimer type thing of double viewings being projected between
Nice.
Fantastic Four and Superman.
I mean, wasn't it super fantastic or something like is what they were calling it. But I mean, my thing is Barbenheimer released on the same day. This is weeks apart, but this is going to have legs because there's no other competition till Fantastic Four.
Well, and if you add in the international, it's already I think like 10 million short of making back its budget. So
Nice.
it's a hit. I mean,
Yeah, it's a hit, and it needs to definitely stay that way. It needs to go that way. I'm loving seeing that. I want a DC universe to come out of this. You know.
Yeah, I want to exist in a world where I have my DC heroes. So, all right, fellas, we've done this for 2 hours and 20 minutes. Like I said, we'll have more comments and more things to come as we get into it. Go see the movie again and again, people.
Yeah.
So
I'll probably be seeing it again when I come down to visit. We'll
I know
probably go see it again.
I know there'll be at least 2 more times I'll see it next weekend with the cast. Then when James comes to visit, me and him talked about going to see it. So we could probably find like a during the day show where everybody's watching Fantastic Four. We'll go see this so we can talk the whole time. And be like, see this? What do you think? So
Blu-rays are up for pre-order already too. Just throwing it out there.
I know.
Yeah, the steel books. Mm-hmm.
I already ordered it just because but you know. All right, fellas, you guys have a good night. Listeners, you have a good night. Remember to look up and remember